Good Times with Scar is absolutely iconic. And for me, he taught me how to build over 10 years ago through an unsanctioned app on the Google Play Store. Oh god, that was 10 years ago. Anyways, I watched him build this fantastic, nostalgic birch and cobblestone mansion, and while it actually holds up pretty well considering how old it is, it has some noticeable features of age. So, in honor of Scar, I would like to rebuild this mansion in my modern Minecraft style, which of course is heavily influenced by Scar. I don't want this to be Theseus's mansion. I want this to be Scar's mansion. And so without further ado, let's go right into time-lapse mode and get this video underway. So first I started off working on the cobblestone frame. I wanted to change up the colors a lot, so I mixed in the stone, the tuff, the mossy cobblestone there, and I was making a lot of the shape changes along the edges there. You can see it right there in front. I was trying to smooth out those edges to make them look a little bit more natural. And I was also changing up the roof a lot, and also those cupolas, the windows that stick out, those things. And I was making the supports there a little bit thinner with the walls, and just trying to make it blend in a little bit more so it didn't stick out as harsh. And I made these changes along the creases of the roof to make it a little bit darker inside, and I repeated this process on all sides of the house. After that, I needed to work on the walls. I was texturing with the stripped oak logs, the stripped birch logs, and then I went to just regular birch planks, as you can see near the top of that first level there. I was dividing it out so you had the darker colors on the bottom layers, and then you went into the lighter colors at the top, which was mostly just a little sprinkling of the stripped birch. And originally I had smooth sandstone to top here, but you'll see here I actually changed that to regular sandstone because I thought it blended a little bit better. Then I decided to repeat this process on the two sides, which were a little bit flatter, a little bit less interesting. So these definitely benefited from this makeover. I blocked off that little section with spruce wood at the bottom there because I want to put a chimney there, because there's a fireplace inside, but there's no actual chimney. Here, I changed the accent at the roof here. Scar blocked it off with that little bit, and I wanted to make it a little bit smoother, so I messed around with some decorations here at the top until I settled on something I liked. And then I filled in the sandstone, as you'll see here in a sec. And I ended up liking this so much that I immediately went over to the other side and did it as well in the exact same style. And you'll see here, filling at the bottom, I left that door there out from the kitchen because we will be transforming that as well, keeping that the same. And then we're moving up I'm getting rid of all of the windows, and I'll put them back in after I do the interior, because that's going to change as well. There's the decoration done. And then I decided that I needed to go back towards the back, and I did the same accent design as I did on the other two sides. So I added those decorations, and then I went back over to the front. Pretty much the same process. I was doing that for all of the bottom levels with the stripped oak wood and then the stripped birch wood. Working on that. There's a little bit of stuff I'll need to touch up inside as well, because now there's some weird broken walls and there's some interior walls that don't look the same. You'll see it's a bit of a mess. But I got all those exterior walls done, just laid out the basis, and then I had to work on the top here with the dormers. I looked it up. I've been editing as I go. Those are not cupolas. Those are completely different. And I did the same generic thing. I added the sandstone at the top and the little decoration at the top of the arch. Then it was time to work on the interior, and I started in the main lobby area. So I kind of laid out what I was doing structurally, because I knew I needed to change a bunch of things. There was a weird double layered wall on the inside that Scar had put there, and I really tried to get that to work with some kind of weird window design, but I'll just skip through it. It just didn't work. I hated it, and this is something to keep in mind as a builder. If you build something you don't like, it's fine. Just take it apart and build something else. It's not something to be ashamed of. And then I kind of revamped the foyer lobby area. I was trying to figure out how this structurally would work to make it actually look good and not super blocky either. Since I got rid of the second wall layer, it was a little harder to work with. And then I went over to the floor area here with the terracotta. I tried some glazed terracotta. Predictably, it worked horribly, so I just got rid of it. Tried again, it worked horribly again, so I got rid of it. And then I decided, you know what? Screw it. I'm just getting rid of half of those sandstone because I didn't really like the sandstone there anyways. I was going to go full in on the spruce flooring here. So I was cutting down on the sandstone a little bit, and then I cut it down to a point that I liked, and I added a carpet with some moss and some green wool because I think it fits the vibe. Went back to the staircase and updated that a bit because I didn't like the bright sandstone walls there. I didn't think it was necessary. And then I decided to make the spruce flooring go all the way up the stairs. But as I did that, I realized there was a reason why Scar didn't do that, because the floor of the second layer was the ceiling of the first layer. So if you made the spruce floor, it would have been weird because you had to mess with spruce ceilings from the first layer, and it was weird. But I decided to do it anyways and just deal with the consequences later. So I made the spruce flooring there with a little bit of a rim, but we'll deal with that later. And then I moved here, and there's a little bit of empty space there, which I found odd, but we'll mess with it later. For now, I'm working here on the ceiling, which I just added some beams, some cross beams, some supports. I messed around with the height, and I ended up doing something symmetrical on all four sides around this chandelier section. And then I decided I wanted it a little bit more wood along the ceiling too, so I made the structure going diagonally with the wood as well. And I'll mess with the cobblestone and stuff later. But in this process, I came to the realization that I could make the structure for the walls out of the oak logs as well, which I don't know why I didn't think of that before, but it blew my mind. So I started doing this everywhere. I did it in the foyer area, and then I pulled it all the way across into the main lobby area. And after adding some more lights back there, messing around with the floor of the second layer, and then I had to fix the ceiling of the first layer, so I was adding some stairs instead of slabs and just kind of refining it a bit. And then I got rid of all of that trimming and replaced it with the spruce and the oak logs and the barrels. So I was messing with that a bunch, and then I replaced those corner plants. I didn't want to get rid of them because I thought they were important, but I replaced them with azalea and also frog lights because they're better than glowstone. Because I think the azalea fits kind of what Scar was going with, that vibe there. Something bright and kind of happy in that area. And then once I finished this trim, I was then able to move on to the actual detail here. With that extra space, I put little bookshelves in the sides, both in that little hallway area and also out towards the lobby. And then I wanted some kind of symmetry between the two sides, but I didn't have room for bookshelves, so I made little windows that went off into the kitchen here. You can see the view that you get from the lobby. We'll update the kitchen in a moment here, but that's pretty much where I got with that. I messed around with the flooring a little bit more, made the sandstone area a bit bigger to keep it closer to what it originally was, and I added that cool little pattern. And then I was just kind of messing around with details. I'll take this opportunity to ask you all to subscribe if you are enjoying it. It helps me out a ton. I'm a small channel, but I'm really enjoying this project. I added those hanging plants there. It was kind of like an off decision, but I kind of like them. I just hit my mic, but I like them, and I think they turned out well. And then I messed up the replay, but that's okay, because I'll take this opportunity to show you what it would have looked like from Scar's perspective down on the ground instead of looking through replay mod. I added a few things. I added another piece of kind of green carpet with a crafting table here because I think it's nice putting little elements of survival Minecraft in creative builds. And I found these nice little nooks that don't lead to the outside that I can put some armor stands in the sides here in the very beginning of the foyer. You come out here, not a ton of changes. I did add some copper trapdoors that are weathered. I think not lightly weathered, but not fully oxidized, to kind of make a base for those plants. I changed the carpet here a little bit to give it a little bit more texture. I added windows to the outside from this so that you can see the pool out there. I added some candles, the skull, I might change that because that doesn't feel very good times with Scar of me, but I don't know. This is all the same. I did like the way that I was able to make these bookshelves wrap around almost. It's not exact, but I think it's nice, and I think I'm going to make them wrap around to here too. But this is a whole different part of the project. So, back to the replay. And I went straight into working in the living room. I didn't like how there was a half slab on the bottom. It was a bottom slab, so I changed it all to full blocks, and that was fixed. So then I worked on the windows. I wanted to do 2 bigger windows on each side, and I put 2 smaller windows at the back, but I decided to make it less windows so I had a little bit more wall space. Then I worked on the corners a bit. I took out some of the plants, although I'd end up putting them back later. I detailed those bookshelves like I did the other ones and put the plant pots there, updated the lighting, and I put actual big pots there with more azalea leaves to make it look on theme. And then I raised the structure of the fireplace up, keeping the quartz design, changed a lot of it to smooth quartz, put actual campfires in there for lighting and for smoke. And I'm doing this gradient now with diorite to calcite to quartz. And I went and worked out on the outside of the the fireplace as well, with the chimney going all the way up, all the way just over the top of the roof. I thinned it out a little bit because it was looking a little bit thick. Just a 2x3 by the time it reaches the top. Add that little detail there, but I put diorite at the top and calcite down like it got a little dirty because of all the smoke. And I made a little pattern up the center with quartz, the chiseled quartz. And then I put some trapdoors at the top. I tinkered with copper, but I changed it to birch, and I think that looks a lot better. Going back inside, we've got me here working on the couches. I haven't done this couch design in a while, but I really like it. If you put some minecarts there and then push a half slab into them, it actually locks the minecarts in place and you can still sit in them, which is great. And I added some banners for some extra decoration. I put another carpet there, which I think looks great and fits with the theme. I put some I put some more support beams on the walls there, just like I did in the lobby area. I put some more decorations, some more flower pots, and I put some cactus in those flower pots back there, trying to keep an aspect of what Scar had done previously. I put some paintings on either side because those were in the original room design as well. And I tried redesigning the ceiling. I really tried to find something different, but it was perfect. There was nothing to change. I had no reason to change it. Then I moved on to the kitchen. I stripped out that line of birchwood and replaced it with spruce. And then I actually moved out the door where I'm going to replace the standard 1x2 door with this nice little kind of extra sticky out bit with the windows. I'm just going to put up what it's called on screen now. I don't remember. And I'm not going to guess like I did before with dormers and call them cupolas. Maybe this is a cupola. I don't know. But I added this cobble roof, like the same as the rest of the roof. I added some rounded details with the glass panes, and I just needed that because there's not going to be any other windows on that side. There's one on the left here for this dining room, but it doesn't actually end up staying. I'm replacing the floor here, getting rid of that trim because it doesn't really need to be there, and I'm just going to make that part of the floor. Ripping out everything I don't need, making these supports the same design as everywhere else, and ripping out those remaining parts of the birch floor. I raised that step up a little bit so that the transition between that little window there and the actual dining room would be a little bit less sharp. Replacing more of the support beams while I'm working there and filling in those windows. And I'm making these supports go across the top of the roof between all of the support beams because I think it looks nice. I put another one of those plants there like I did in the lobby. However, the lighting's just on the bottom for this one. Put another cactus there, another throwback to what was originally there. And I'm making the cabinets that were on top, instead of the bookshelves that Scar originally used, I'm using chisel bookshelves for the most part. Putting a smoker here with a hopper, cauldron, and then sideways blast furnace on top for the little oven area. Put that sink back with the nice big window, but I decided to divert back to the dining room. I built the basics of the table here with some chairs, but the chair design I wanted to do, I needed a little bit more room, so I pushed back that upper level of the floor a little bit, put some banners there, put the plates down with weighted pressure plates and a cake in the middle, and then I found the perfect painting for that. Look at that. I think that's perfect for a dining room. I made some decorations with multicolored banners, but I ended up having to get rid of that window. Put another painting there. That's a standard one. And then I decided to do the same trick with the chairs again, making it so I could actually sit in them. I put all of the mine carts in these, and it doesn't look quite as good, I guess you could argue that, but I think it gives them, I think it's interesting that they're actually functional. I couldn't help myself. I replaced the floor in the kitchen with a two-tone, the deep slate, polished deep slate, and the polished diorite. So that was the kind of the black and white color. I replaced the bottom countertops with cut sandstone and smooth sandstone stairs because it was sandstone initially, but it was rough sandstone. I just made it a little bit smoother. I put the crafting table back in the middle like it was originally too, and I made some of the cabinets on top, the barrels facing forward instead, which I think fits rather well. I added some brewing stands. I added item frames to make it look like it had shelves. I don't know what happened there, but you get to deal with it. And I added some detector rails to make it look like it was griddles with some more furnaces there. And then I move on to the fridge. Yeah, I put a little decorative armor stand in there. Hopefully it looks good. Changed up the walls a bit because I forgot to change them back to the new design. Put another support there because I think it looked better, kind of shaving the fridge down a little bit. I put smooth stone on the bottom level, and then I put andesite everywhere that I wasn't actually going to be storing things. Andesite stairs, andesite supports in the corners, and then just kind of blocking everything off that wasn't andesite. Filled it with packed ice and regular ice to make it very obvious that it was a fridge. I put one actual double chest at the back for storage, but then everywhere else I did that campfire trick where you can put raw meat on unlit campfires to make it look like it's in cold storage. And that's basically what I did. I put a soul lantern inside to give it a little bit of light but not melt the ice because I don't want that happening. Did some final touch-ups in the area that leads outside, put a nice little carpet in there, and that's it. And then I went to the top layer of the main lobby. I added some decorations, and I made these railings out of anvils instead of just the spruce railings this time, just to add some contrast. I added some lanterns here, but those got removed later, just for the sake of, being able to see what I'm doing. I updated the ceiling in the same kind of color palette as it was before on the outside, just making sure that every section divided up by the support beams wasn't left untouched. I wanted to make sure everything looked consistent as I was working on it. And I think it turned out pretty well. I updated the supports on the back wall. Then that window is different from what it was before shape-wise, but it's pretty close, so it harkens back. I think it looks good. I added a painting here because there was a bit of I felt that space on that front wall was pretty empty, and I just needed something to go there, so there's little supporting bits with the painting. I think it looks nice. I updated this support structure here, and I used this as a template to kind of see what I would do on the other side as well. I was thinning things out and making those shelving units look a little bit more consistent and just kind of making things a little bit more organized. On the other side though, I didn't like how the door to the main bedroom wasn't centered in reference to the foyer, so I moved that over, and I'd work on the rest of it later. I've changed up all the walls, added the stripped birch that I needed, did the details just like I did on the other side, and those and then I added all of these paintings. 2 of those 4x2s were new, and the 2 2x2s were old. Here I updated the backgrounds there. I added basalt to the cyan terracotta and the standout green plants. Here I added standout blue plants with the green terracotta and bamboo as well. And I built the chandelier, completely different from the original, which was just 4 pieces of glowstone and some cobblestone. but I wanted something to stand out from the palette of the rest of the build. And if we go down here and take a view from the underside, I think it worked out really well. It's a centerpiece. It's supposed to catch your eye and draw it away from the rest of it because it looks cool, and I think it turned out well. Heading outside though, before I did the bedrooms, I decided to do a little bit of an extra project. I wanted to renovate the front lawn, so I just stripped everything down that didn't need to be there, replaced the flower beds with coarse dirt because that's a block that Scar didn't have, and replaced the spruce leaves, which was supposed to be like a lawn or just grass. I replaced it with a mixture of moss and green concrete powder. And I replaced the hedgerows with 2 block tall instead of 1, with azaleas and azalea leaves on top. I started building a regular tree, and then I realized later that Scar had actually intended for these to be magnolia trees specifically, which was tough for him because magnolia trees, you couldn't really do that in his age, because magnolia trees have they have pink and white blossoms, and you couldn't really do that in that era of Minecraft unless you just added wool to it, which I think he just assumed wouldn't look very good, which is fair. So I made my own design with spruce leaves for the darker bits, azalea leaves for the main chunk of it, and then cherry leaves along the outside to represent the blossoms. I made a smaller version there and another smaller one right there, continued the hedge line, filled out the rest of the lawn here, and decided to make another big magnolia tree right here as well. I split this one up a bit differently. Both of them have diverging trunks, so it kind of goes off in 2 different directions to get that volume that magnolia trees have rather than height. And I think they turned out really well. I'm pretty happy with the design. They're small and they're not too complex, but I think they do the vision justice. Then I added the shrubbery along the corners there. You can see near the house that were originally there, but they were very dense before because that was the way that Scar built his foliage before he just filled it all in, which isn't what most modern builders do. Added a bunch of flowers. Originally, they were just poppies and dandelions, and I did keep some of those, especially near the center area, for an homage to it, but I added another variety as well. Updated this gravel path, made it look nice, and I'm really happy with this. The view it's very distinctly still Scar's mansion, and that's why I like it. Then I headed back inside to work on the guest bedroom and office space. Now, according to the original videos, these rooms were built for a doctor. I forget the name, and please don't quote me on this. I don't know this for sure, but my headcanon for some reason tells me that this was a doctor that Scar worked with in real life for his health issues. Because I don't think Scar did lore in his world, so that's what makes sense to me. I might be completely wrong though, so please ignore me. I might be completely wrong. Correct me in the comments if I am, if you know, because I'm very curious. I wasn't able to find, who this character was, but I was doing very basic kind of detailing like I always do, and I decided to move the bed in that dormer window, and I think it looks nice there. Put some small paintings and then realized this big painting would look great there. So great, I decided to put a chair next to it. I fiddled around with the design a bit until I found something I relatively liked, but there you go. Added an orange carpet to match the orange bed and the orange tulip there you can see in the corner, and I think it looks nice. I think it looks great. I did the same kind of detailing to the back of the hallway there with another little bit of bookshelves with a birch sapling, and I think that looks good as well. Add some paintings, you can see one of them there. And then it was time to work on the office for the same doctor character. I wanted to keep the general layout and design the same. I even wanted to keep the furnishings out of oak wood because I thought it would be too dark if I made the same wraparound all the way with spruce or dark oak. So I kept it as oak. And I was working on that, and honestly, most of the actual countertop was the same. I just bumped out the front a little bit and made it not too deep all the way across, just most of the way. I messed with the shaping a bit, added a lectern over there near that window, which there is a book that goes in there eventually. I just forgot at that point. Added some redstone contraptions on the back side there. Added an actual pot with actual archaeology instead of the piece of terracotta that was originally there, or I guess hardened clay it would have been at that point. Added a dragon egg, added some candles. That zombie head gets removed, so does that conduit. I replaced it with a sniffer head later. That minecart that was originally there, I made a chest minecart because it was just more interesting. And that was pretty much the office done. I just did some touch-ups and added some new blocks that weren't there originally, but I think it looks nice. And then I moved on to the bedroom. This is the most important room of the entire area. It's Scar's room. I couldn't mess it up. So I was very careful not to change too much. I wanted to keep it to the original feel. That said, I did add a lot of extra supports, like I was at the rest of the house. I added some beams on the top, very similar to like I did in the lobby area. Made the lighting lanterns instead of torches, which I think was a good decision. And I messed around with the kind of trimming around the top of the ceiling there. There was a little mistake. You see like where the dormer window meets that. I fixed that afterwards. Don't worry. There's like the one stair isn't the right orientation. Anyways, I added painting in a jukebox. Those are pretty nice. But I made this area like a little cushion area like it was originally. But this specifically was for a very special cat, Jelly. And it was the first mob, the first spawn egg was a Jelly. It was meant to be. I gave her some pickles. I don't know what Jelly's gonna do with pickles, but there you go. She's got pickles, I guess. I did some little detailing and running around, and then I pet Jelly, and it was time to work on the bathroom. Now, the bathroom wasn't too complex. I couldn't change all that much, but I did do some cool stuff. I made the shower entrance a little bit different with that glass there. Obviously, that didn't exist before. And I messed with the inside of the shower so much until I realized that I wanted to use a little strategy developed by Pearlescent Moon, which is to make dispensers facing downwards into lightning rods with fireworks to make it look like it's raining water when it's not actual Minecraft water. Added a little tiny redstone contraption. You can see the lever up there. You turn that on, and it does that. It's amazing. It's such a good detail, and I'm so happy there was enough room in the ceiling to fit it because it was really close. But I really like it. I added some pickles in there for soap as well, but you don't really care about that. There's the inside of my head, very empty, as you would expect, but I changed the mirror a little bit and the vanity to dark oak because I wanted it to stand out. Put that little end rod light there, either fluorescent or LED, kind of up to your imagination. Added a little bath rug there, a white little bath rug. Changed the texture of the flooring a little bit by adding some suspicious sand, which yes, you can get in survival. It is possible. It's just a pain in the butt. And I barely changed the toilet. I just added a trapdoor because Minecraft toilets have not evolved much in the last 10 years for some reason, but updated the carpet, just added a little bit of texture, nothing too astounding. And I didn't want to change the bed too much either. I changed it to dark oak again so it would stand out, and I added some trapdoors basically, but that was it. And the paintings and oh my gosh, I'm done. Roll the final scenes.
We wave goodbye to the Mother Tree Farm, goodbye, and say hello to a brand new project. Nice. Look at that. We got our base of our structure. Scare him off, kitty. Come on, Jelly. Get him. Jelly. You failed me, Jelly. You failed me. You failed me. You, Jelly too. You also This next round of enhancements will be hello, Mr. Green Sheep. And a lot more detail, a lot more charm with that. Some people, you gotta follow me on Twitter sometimes, and to send me pictures of things you build that we build with on the game. So if if you're working on something that you got inspiration from one of my videos, send me a picture. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see what you do. It means a lot that you guys are subscribed and watch my videos and really support me and my channel. Thank you so much, guys, for all that. And that leads me to my next thing, and that is, what should we do for the big milestone? So this should occur the celebration of 20,000 subscribers. So what do you guys, what are your thoughts on something that I can do? Because that's why I make videos, and if you believe the video deserved a rating of some sort, that would be much appreciated. And until next time, this has been Good Times with Scar, and we'll see you later.
This has been a very special project to me, and I just want to say right off the bat, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching this. This video has been in the works for a handful of months now, and whether that was just in my head, I was like kind of planning out scenes and what I was going to do and build, or the actual like probably good half a month of building and editing and recording. It's been a lot, but I'm so glad I did this, because it may not be the best build I've ever done, but it certainly has a sentimental value that most things I build don't have. Not for lack of like I don't care about most of my builds, you know, like that's not it. Just more in the sense of this is on a whole different level. I mean, like, just, oh my gosh. And I can't thank you all enough for going through this process with me. And also, I'm gonna tag Scar. I've decided it. I'm gonna tag him. I'm gonna @ him on Twitter. I'm gonna say, hey Scar, I made something and I think you'll like it because it's for you. And it really is. And you know, this is on the off chance Scar actually does end up watching this. Thank you. Not just the audience in general. You, Scar. You made this possible. Not just this house. This entire channel. I can open up YouTube and Opera GX and I can say, look, that sub count, that was you. Because more than anyone else, you're the reason I'm doing this. Because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have gotten into Minecraft building as early as I did. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have gotten into content creation as early as I did. And it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed my favorite game as much as I do now. And that's a lot. It's a lot of stuff to thank for one man I've never met before. So this is for you, Scar. And I hope I did it justice. I think I did. But, you know, it's not my build. It's yours. So that's about it. Thank you all again so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't, if you've made it this far. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.